Okay, well, it's not quite 7 yet.
Just let me get myself back on.
Oh no.
Alright. Are you joining us by picture or not?
No, where I'm staying, I have really bad internet connections. So if I want to hear and you want to hear me, you can't see me.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to call it to order then. Call to order the regular council meeting of Wednesday, April 3rd, 2024. Adoption of agenda 2.1, recommendation that the council adopts the agenda. Can I get a seconder? Councillor Johnson, thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous and carried. Councillor Woodall, how do you want to do this? Do you just want to put your little hand up on there for each vote, or say aye? Or say aye?
Yeah, well, if I'm opposed, I'll voice my opposition.
Okay, that works as well. Okay, item number 3, adoption of agenda 3.1, recommendation that the council adopts the minutes from the regular council meeting held on March 20th, 2024. Can I get a seconder? Councillor Johnson, thank you. Any discussion? Councillor Rabble?
I'd like to suggest a small change on page 5 of the agenda, which is 9 of this agenda, that during my council report, that I did not attend the budget workshop due to a cancellation notice versus due to confusion.
There was no cancellation notice.
Yeah, the budget workshop wasn't canceled, it was changed, right? So we never had the special meeting, we had the workshop instead. So you could voice it due to cancellation of special meeting and
yes.
What you felt could have been in confusion?
It was not confusion, it was simply because of the public cancellation notice. Yeah. Anyways, that's what I would like it changed to.
You got that figured out for wording this, folks?
Public cancellation?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? All those in favor? Unanimous and carried. Thank you. Item number 4, introduction of late items, none. Item number 5, delegations. 5.1, recommendation that the council hears a delegation from Ashley of the PRRD regarding the regional growth strategy.
Second.
Seconded by Councillor Rabble. Thank you. Come on up, Ashley. I was like, why are you holding your hand up? I'm like, oh my gosh. You know what happens when you travel?
Yeah, right.
You're like, my brain is just, whoop. Hey, Chicky, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I'm pleased to be here. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ashley Murphy. I'm the General Manager of Development Services with the Peace River Regional District. So I oversee the building, bylaw, and planning departments. And we have been working on getting this regional growth strategy project off the ground for quite some time. And I'm very pleased to be here to present to you today on the project, where we're at, and give you some information on some upcoming public engagement that we'll be having. So you are the first city council in my Round the Region tour. So
awesome.
You chose that as your test subject. I love it.
Exactly. So unfortunately, due to technical limitations, we don't have the slides up on the screen for you today, but they are in your agenda. So most of this I'm going to breeze through, and I'm going to spend more of our time kind of focusing on the next steps this afternoon.
Perfect. For anybody in the gallery, it's on page 13 of this agenda.
So we're going to go over kind of what is the regional growth strategy, what does it mean for you as a municipality, the work that's been done to date, the survey, and what's coming next. So regional growth strategies are enabled by the Provincial Local Government Act. They're initiated, prepared, enacted by the regional district with the involvement of all of our member municipalities. So they're intended to be a very high level document to guide long-term regional growth management and support more coordinated region-wide planning with our member municipalities and stakeholders. It can cover a wide range of interconnected policy topic areas, but some minimum requirements that we have to include in the document are: it has to be for a 20-year time frame, it has to include a regional vision statement, it has to include population and employment projections, and it has to include some regional actions for key areas such as housing, transportation, servicing, parks and natural areas, economic development, and climate adaptation and resilience. So what does this mean for municipalities? The process is largely left up to each region on how to develop it. So For example, in some of our more populous urban centers that have regional growth strategies, their regional growth strategies are largely focused on that population growth. We recognize that here in the north, we don't have the same level of population pressures, and so this regional growth strategy may be focused more around those kind of economic growth factors and how do we be better prepared for those kind of ebbs and flows that we see here based on our industries. And I apologize, I'm just getting over a cold, so I will be frequently sipping to keep my voice going. Once adopted, all of our regional district bylaws must be consistent with the regional growth strategy. And then you as a member municipality will be required to update your official community plan within 2 years of the adoption of the regional growth strategy to include a regional context statement. And it's really a statement, and we can, we're in discussion with our consultant to look to how to help assist our member municipalities in the crafting of that context statement. But it sets out kind of the relationship between the regional growth strategy and your official community plan, and how we as the regional district and municipalities are going to continue to work together for the benefit of the region as a whole. As part of the regional growth strategy process, we at the regional district will be required to establish a monitoring and implementation program following its adoption and prepare an annual report for the province every 5 years. And that report needs to consider whether the strategy should be reviewed and updated, if it's a minor or major update as well. So similar to what needs to be done for OCPs, every 5 years we'll be looking at it. So we are currently in phase 2 of our project, so the opportunities, issues, and regional profile. The regional profile has been released and it's available on our Have Your Say page, and I'll talk a little bit about that later on. So engagement and communications, so we have PRD board, which each of the member municipalities have representatives on. Public and stakeholder engagement will be occurring, and we also have technical expertise through our steering committee. So the steering committee consists of some provincial representatives and then staff from each of the municipalities involved in the project. So we're keeping that as more of the technical advisory committee as we go through the process. They'll meet at least 5 times over the project and provide input at key milestones and support communication between the project team and your other staff in your municipalities and your council when I'm not out doing this. So work to date. We have done postcards, posters, newsletters, an FAQ, a press release, social media posts, banner ads on Energetic City, Chetwynd Coffee Talk Express, ads on the radio and in Northern Horizon. And we've also done some outreach to our member First Nations and are looking forward to continue to work with them through this project. Now, RGSs do not apply to reserve lands, but we still consider them a partner throughout this project. So we did have a survey open from November to February, and we started with kind of a vision that came from the regional board strategic plan, and we asked people to provide their feedback on how they felt about that vision as a starting point for this regional growth strategy project. Paper copies were also distributed, and we had a total of 303 responses, which is really good, really fantastic for our region. So based on that and some of the background work that the consultant was doing, so they've been looking at kind of population and economic statistics and gathering all of this data and information and analyzing it, and they've developed their regional profile. So they also took a look at all of our member municipalities and all of your official community plans and other strategic level documents. And so the regional profile is really a snapshot in time as to where we are at currently as the Peace River Regional District and member municipalities. So what are we looking at in terms of projected population, the economy, what trends are we seeing, housing, and it highlights through that document some key changes in the moving forward section, or some key policy topic areas rather, that we will be discussing and further fleshing out through our public engagement that's going to be kicking off in June. So I kind of breeze through the next few slides because I kind of explain the existing vision, and but I'll talk a little bit more about some of the survey results. So 79% of people liked or thought the vision that we started with was okay. Some of the comments that we did receive back were rural character, no mention of rural character in communities, environmental protection, addressing housing crisis, economic development, including oil and gas and agriculture, including First Nations perspective, too much mention of climate change, because we know that is a hot button topic these days, and then addressing the needs of all age groups. So based on that survey, the 4 kind of key policy theme areas in order of priority that was determined through the survey results were regional economy, housing affordability, agriculture and food security, and public health and safety. After that came transportation, parks and natural areas, regional district services, and climate change and resilience. So some other feedback that we heard from the survey was that engagement and communication is really important. People want us to be transparent and clear, and that is our goal through this entire project, and that's one of the reasons why I'm here today, is to provide you as council and ensure that your constituents are aware of the continued progress on this. Advocacy was really important. Agriculture, processing and value added, affordable housing, protecting natural resources, economic development. So those were all important theme areas that were identified. So next steps. Moving forward, we're going to be starting to develop the actual draft of the regional growth strategy. The policy ideas, informed by feedback from the RGS Steering Committee, directions from PRD and member government OCPs, other PRD and member governments, plans and strategy and policy directions in key PRD plans and strategies will be kind of organized into chapter themes, similar to what was outlined through the regional profile document. Some additional policy ideas were recommended through feedback and have been included. So the regional profile, as I mentioned, really outlines this piece in detail. So in the moving forward, it outlines these kind of policy theme areas. And again, this is what we'll be going out to the public in June with, to ask them, do you agree with these? What do you think we're missing? Do you not agree with any of these? And really making sure that we're tuning those themes to the needs of the region as a whole. So some of the policy items being kind of tossed around right now are under regional economy: coordinate and cooperate to maintain and grow a healthy and diversified regional economy, support and promote tourism and tourism related activity, address and improve workforce housing. Under housing and affordability, we have collaborate and coordinate across the regional district to support affordable and accessible housing, strengthen seniors housing and supports for others in need of housing, address and improve workforce housing. And then agriculture and food security, we have support local agriculture and food businesses, coordinate and collaborate with regional partners for sustainable water access and water management. Health, well-being, and safety is another policy area where we're looking to support regional partnerships and collaborate for safe, healthy, and active communities, enhancing community well-being, and enhancing emergency management. So that's just a couple highlight areas that are being that will be discussed further as we move into our public engagement. So that brings me to my almost last slide, is outreach and engagement. So June 7th to 10th, we will have our consultants here. Our full team of planners will be out and about throughout the region hosting various public engagement events. So we'll be holding 2 sessions a day. Some will be geared towards general public comments. Some will be geared towards specific stakeholders and inviting them to participate and provide feedback. And on the very last, or not very last, but the second last slide, you'll see a list of all of our public events that we'll be at. So we'll be at the Fort St. John's Farmers Market on Saturday, June 8th in the morning. And then we will be hosting a public open house at the Pomeroy Sports Center that evening as well. Sunday, we will be at the Chetwynd Chainsaw Carving Competition. So we'll have a booth set up there. And then in the evening, we'll be at the Tumbler Ridge Community Center. And then Monday, we'll be at the Hudson's Hope Community Hall in the evening. And Tuesday, we'll be at the Calvin Crux Center here in Dawson Creek in the evening as well. And that is the end of my presentation. So feel free to ask any questions.
Yeah, I have a quick question for you. So you had mentioned in your presentation that the municipal OCPs will be required to be updated to reflect what the RGS is going to be going towards. And as you're aware, the OCP is a very large expense for municipalities. It's one of the largest after the election happens. So will there be any sort of like financial support from municipalities as they take on this added expense? Because it looks like it's going to have to be updated within a matter of like 2 years, right? So
yeah, so the update is really just the addition of that regional context statement. It's not necessarily that you have to update your whole OCP to align with the regional growth strategy. The regional growth strategy is not a document that talks about land use per se. It talks at a high level about kind of policy directives. So if in the future when it came time to update your OCP, if you wanted to update it to include alignment with those policy directives, that would be at your council's prerogative.
okay.
But really it's just that regional context statement that's the requirement under the local government to do. And we have already been in conversations with the consultant to work with our member municipalities to provide that support and help you craft the wording for that context statement.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Councilor Rebel?
We've recently worked on the OCP and are still fine-tuning it and whatnot, and it does contain a regional statement. Is it possible that that regional statement with its foresight could align already preemptively with the regional growth strategy, and then we might not actually have to go back on it?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
entirely possible. Yeah. And we're happy to, you know, if you wanted to kick that over your consultant or whoever's working, we're happy to have those conversations with them as well.
Councilor Rebel?
If I may, for the key policy areas, you've mentioned 8 policy areas. Were those the only options for the survey folks, and they are simply ranking them?
Yes, and I believe there was an other option as well that people could add in, and that's where we got some of those other kind of topic areas, right? Like supporting rural communities, including First Nations voices. I think that's where some of those comments came from. We just wanted to give people an idea of sometimes something so big can be ambiguous unless we give a little bit of kind of context to it. So we started with some basic kind of policy theme areas to build off of.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
I don't mean to. Okay. So I appreciate it. I'm very excited for this. I'm really excited to see the water management, the land management, tourism, regional strategies, regional transportation infrastructure. Is there an event that will be hosted within Puskupi?
No, unfortunately, we opted for Dawson Creek as a more centralized location for this round of public engagement. That's not to say that there won't be later on, just we only had kind of a 4-day window in our budget with the consultant, so we've tried to get as throughout the region as we possibly could, given that kind of time frame. We are looking to hopefully have staff out at community events throughout the summer though as well. So if there's any events that you're aware of that will be happening in your community between now and Christmas, please let us know and we'd be happy to come and participate and set up a booth or whatever that looks like as well.
So like Canada Day?
Potentially, yeah.
Potentially, yeah. Okay. Okay, any other questions? Councillor Whittle, do you have any questions or anything?
No, I have no questions at this time.
Okay, awesome. Anything from staff? Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for coming out and seeing us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time. Alright. So, now we're going to move on to 6, which is ink camera as per section 91 of the community charter. Somebody read 6.1 recommendation, please.
The council moves the in-camera as per section 91 KCCNC. negotiations and related discussions respecting the proposed provision of municipal service that are at their preliminary stages, and that, in the view of the council, could reasonably be expected to harm the interests of municipality if they were held in public. Labor relations or other employee relations. Labor relations or other employee relations. And labor relations or other employee relations.
Sorry, a second here.
Um,
I'll second that, so we can move into the close.
Point of order. As per the bylaw regarding, or procedure bylaw, usually in camera is held at the end of the meeting. Is there a reason for the urgency that this matter be handled at the start of the meeting?
Yes, so this pertains, seeing as we're heading into our budget conversations, this is pertaining to that. And so this is information we're gonna need prior to going into our budget meeting. But this is information at this point in time we cannot bring forward to the public due to section 91 KCC and C in the community charter. So our hands are just as tight as everybody else's. So this is information we need to have before we can have our budget meeting. So that's why it has been moved up immediately. Okay. Alrighty. All those in favor of moving into the in-camera meeting?
Marcel, are you in favor?
Yes, I'm in favor.
Thank you. All those opposed?
Opposed?
Would you like your opposed noted?
Opposed noted, please.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So, if you guys, anyways, the gallery want to give us like 25 minutes, we're going to try to rush through it and then come on back.
Thank you. Thanks.